The house stood as a mere shadow of its former self, a space that once resonated with joy and laughter, now a quiet testament to the memories I shared with Robert. As I gazed out from the kitchen window, the laughter of the neighborhood kids filled the air, their carefree play a vivid reminder of the emptiness I felt inside. Each night in solitude, each day amidst the blooms, my mind drifted to a life yet to be lived, to dreams I had tucked away in the shadows. Yet as the sun sank beneath the horizon that evening, a shift occurred within me. The surface of my seemingly flawless existence was beginning to splinter, revealing the truth that I could no longer overlook the tempest swirling within me. What would I do when the ideal life I had crafted started to fall apart under the burden of my concealed longings? In the heart of the 1970s, a vivid tapestry unfolded, filled with the essence of a time when aspirations danced on the horizon, beckoning with an irresistible allure. In the heart of a charming suburban neighborhood, I found myself Anna, a woman in her early 30s, navigating the seemingly flawless tapestry of my life. My husband, Robert, embodied the essence of the American dream, tirelessly dedicated, with a jawline so defined it could slice through the hardest steel, and a presence that naturally drew admiration. He frequently embarked on business trips, leaving me to oversee our home, a role I embraced with a poise that masked the solitude slowly settling in my heart. In a serene neighborhood, our home stood surrounded by trees that shared their quiet tales with the breeze, while the sunlight draped our moments in warm golden tones. Within the walls were decorated with snapshots of our journey filled with joy, laughter, and memories captured forever. But those images, much like the house itself, carried narratives waiting to be uncovered, mysteries concealed behind the appearance of a perfect home. Each day I immersed myself in our garden, a haven where I could wander amidst the roses and lilies, their petals gentle beneath my touch. My neighbors frequently praised my ability to nurture plants, oblivious to the hidden struggles that tugged at my heart. They remarked that my smile could illuminate any space. Yet what remained hidden was the fading glow within my gaze, a deep desire for something beyond the existence I knew. Rocky, our German shepherd, held a significance that transcended the role of a mere companion. He was like kin, a steadfast friend, who could feel the weight of my hidden grief. His spirit was limitless, his devotion steadfast. He would dart after the balls. I tossed his tail wagging rhythmically, marking the tempo for the life I was meant to embrace. Yet despite his playful antics, the emptiness deepened with every day that went by, with every night I found myself alone in our king-sized bed. Robert's absence felt like a chapter left unwritten, leaving the narrative yearning for resolution. His calls from far-off places were rich with tales of impending reunions, of rekindling what had slipped away. Yet I came to understand that time was not a treasure we could effortlessly retrieve. It slipped through our fingers like sand, and with each grain that fell, the narrative of my unfulfillment deepened. One evening, as the sun sank beneath the horizon, casting vibrant hues across the sky, I found myself at the kitchen window, observing the neighborhood children at play. Their laughter rang out a vivid reminder of the stillness that surrounded our dwelling. A wave of longing washed over me, not for their vitality, but for the pure ease of their happiness, the lightness that felt so far removed from the heaviness resting on my heart. That night as I lay in bed, the sheets cold beside me, I allowed my imagination to drift into a world of narratives. I envisioned an alternate existence, one where I transcended the role of Robert's wife, the caretaker, the woman adorned with a flawless grin. I imagined a realm where I transcended, being merely a reflection of another's aspirations, where my yearnings and fervor resonated not as faint echoes in the shadows, but as triumphant declarations from the heights. The following morning, while I enjoyed my coffee, the steam curling upwards like the unspoken tales in my mind, I came to a realization that something had changed inside me. The surface of my seemingly flawless existence was starting to show signs of wear, not due to outside influences, but because of the tempest swirling within my soul. In that moment, I realized I could no longer push aside the long buried yearnings that had been quietly brewing yearnings that had the power to disrupt the carefully crafted existence I had built. What unfolds when the seemingly flawless existence starts to fracture beneath the burden of unspoken yearnings? The question hung in the atmosphere as vivid as the fragrance of the roses blooming in my garden, while I pondered the journey before me. A journey that could steer me away from all that was familiar towards a truth I was just starting to grasp. On a Thursday evening like any other, Robert set out for yet another business trip. The house echoed with an unusual stillness, a deeper quiet enveloping the space. As I meandered through the rooms, the sound of my footsteps resonated on the hardwood floors, each step weaving a tale of the solitude that surrounded me. After nurturing the garden, my sanctuary, I chose to indulge in a glass of wine. The bottle came from Robert, a rare instance when he actually thought to return with a little something from his adventures. I gently filled my cherished crystal glass with the rich crimson liquid, the delicate stem caressing my fingers like a soft secret waiting to be shared. I nestled into the soft embrace of the sofa in our living room, the very one we had chosen together, imagining the warm evenings filled with classic films and shared laughter. In that moment, it was just Rocky and me, his comforting warmth against my leg, his head gently resting on my thigh. His eyes, brimming with empathy, appeared to inquire, "What's troubling you, Anna?" The wine flowed effortlessly, its comforting embrace enveloping me, easing the tightness that had accumulated throughout the day. As I savored my drink, my mind wandered to Robert, to the life we had crafted together, to the closeness that appeared to have vanished, like the morning fog in the warmth of the day. Our marriage had once been a tapestry of vibrant moments woven with laughter and late-night conversations, but now it felt like a familiar tale, the pages worn and the spine beginning to fray. Robert's absence echoed deeply, creating an emotional void that expanded with every journey taken. I recalled the moment we were truly in each other's presence, sharing everything. Once upon a time, there was a brief encounter, a spark of connection that vanished as quickly as it appeared, leaving behind a lingering sense of what could have been. The recollection was a mix of joy and sorrow, colored by the understanding that these instances were fading much like treasured jewels concealed far beneath the surface. Rocky stirred his tail, gently tapping the couch, bringing me back from my daydream. As I ran my fingers through his soft fur, a wave of warmth enveloped me, a reminder of the deep bond we shared, filled with unwavering affection. Yet even with his presence, the emptiness left by Robert's absence remained unfilled. The night deepened, and with it my solitude began to weave itself into the fabric of the room, enveloping everything like a thick, lingering mist. As I gazed into the fireplace, the flames twirled and flickered, creating shadows that wove intricate tales across the walls. Each flicker resonated with my inner turmoil, the interplay of light and shadow reflecting the struggle within me. What was I to do with this void? The house, once a canvas for our collective aspirations, now loomed like a prison, its walls tightening around me. In the depths of my yearning, I sought a spark, a flicker of excitement to shatter the stillness, to infuse the quiet with not merely noise, but with the essence of vitality, fervor, and a sense of belonging. I considered reaching out to friends and joining one of the numerous clubs that had extended invitations to me. Yet the idea of shallow exchanges and insincere laughter felt overwhelming. No, what I longed for was a profound connection, something authentic, something that would rekindle the flame that had faded within my soul. As I savored the final sip of my wine, I stared into the night, yearning for direction and peace. I rose to my feet, the heaviness of my loneliness pressing down on me, yet a newfound determination began to swell within. Perhaps the moment had come to explore the voids, not only within my relationship, but also within myself. The inquiry lingered thick and tangible, much like the aroma of the wine surrounding us. How can I navigate the emptiness that Robert's departure has created? The clarity of the answer may have eluded us yet. The yearning to uncover it burned brightly within. I realized I couldn't stay trapped in this in-between state, this suspended existence of anticipation. With Rocky by my side, I strolled to the window, gazing into the mysteries of the night. The street lay still, the neighborhood in slumber, yet within me a tempest was stirring. A tempest of transformation, of exploration, of possibly rediscovering who I truly am. Under the watchful gaze of the night, I quietly pledged my heart. This emptiness will not shape my identity. I would embark on adventures. I would embrace life. I would seek out what was absent, even if it required venturing into the unfamiliar, into a reality where I was not merely Robert's wife, but Anna, a woman with her own aspirations, her own wishes, her own narrative to share. The following morning, I found myself in a home that seemed even more unfamiliar than before. In the stillness, a sense of anticipation hung in the air, as if the world was holding its breath, waiting for a tale to unfold. In the stillness, where silence reigned supreme, the absence of familiar sounds wrapped around me like a heavy cloak, deepening the sense of isolation that lingered in the air. As I set out with Rocky by my side, I envisioned the adventures that awaited us in the crisp, open air, eager for the clarity that nature often brings. As we ventured outside, the atmosphere seemed transformed, as if the blackout had altered the very essence of the air around us. Rocky, typically full of energy and curiosity, appeared to be particularly focused this time. His gaze met mine in a manner that seemed almost alive, as if he could perceive the chaos swirling inside me. As we strolled through the neighborhood, the familiar sounds of life faded away, leaving behind an unusual quietude. With every step we took, the bond we shared grew richer and more profound. Rocky's gaze held a captivating intensity. His ears stood alert and his tail swayed with a determined rhythm, far from its typical playful dance. It felt like he was weaving a narrative, reaching out to provide solace in a manner uniquely his own. We arrived back at our place, the power still absent, and the home was enveloped in an eerie gloom. Within those walls, the solitude I had been experiencing soared to its highest point. The stillness weighed heavily, and the shadows danced and contorted, taunting my solitude. In this moment of openness, I discovered a deep yearning for connection, a desire for any hint of warmth. As I settled onto the floor, Rocky approached, his fur brushing gently against me, a warm and comforting presence. His eyes, brimming with empathy, appeared to inquire, "What's troubling you, Anna?" In that moment, a deep yearning surged within me, a desire for connection, for something to bridge the emptiness that Robert's absence had created. The unfolding of events took an unexpected turn, something beyond the realm of my imagination. In my yearning for closeness, I found comfort in Rocky's quiet presence, his companionship soothing the silence within me. In that instant, everything felt tangled, as if boundaries I had always respected were suddenly fading away. The moment, arising from a deep yearning for connection, plunged me into a whirlwind of disbelief and uncertainty. The stillness of the home deepened the shadows, wrapping around everything like a thick blanket. A wave of guilt washed over me, accompanied by shame and a deep feeling of betrayal towards Robert. As I sat on the cold floor, the gravity of my actions enveloped me, each moment unfolding like a vivid tale of consequence. In that moment, Rocky seemed to understand my turmoil. He nestled close, resting his head on my lap, providing a quiet solace that spoke volumes. Yet his presence now only echoed the mistakes I had made in the past. The lights flickered back to life in an unexpected burst, startling me in the process. The lights sprang to life, casting their glow across the room, unveiling the tapestry of my existence. I felt bare, as though the brightness had peeled back every layer of pretense. I found it unbearable to meet Rocky's gaze, to witness the purity in his eyes that I had inadvertently corrupted. I rose to my feet, the heaviness of my loneliness pressing down on me, now intertwined with a deeper shadowy sense of remorse. I meandered through the house, the soft buzz of electricity, now a vivid contrast to the stillness that had surrounded me moments before. Every room echoed with the weight of my solitude, a testament to the decisions I had embraced in the shadows. As I found myself in the kitchen, I poured a glass of water, my hands shaking with uncertainty. The icy drink barely touched the blaze of my feelings. I leaned against the counter, gazing out into the backyard, where the garden rested, a refuge now marred by my choices. The question lingered heavily in my thoughts. How would I navigate the consequences of this startling event? The dwelling, once a beacon of our collective aspirations, now loomed like a confinement of my own design. I understood that the past was unchangeable, yet I felt a strong urge to discover a path that would lead me onward. The journey I embarked upon in the shadows unfolded in ways I never anticipated. Now, with the lights restored, I found myself confronting the aftermath, not only of the blackout, but also of my own yearning for connection. Under the watchful gaze of the night, I quietly pledged once more, this will not be my defining moment. I would embark on a journey to seek help navigating the path to self-forgiveness, and perhaps in due course, discover a way to share my story with Robert, hoping to earn his understanding, if not his forgiveness. The tempest inside me continued to swirl, yet it had transformed. It was no longer solely a quest for self-discovery, but a journey toward redemption, a deep dive into the abyss of my solitude, and the measures I had taken to flee from it. With Rocky by my side, I gazed into the night, the streets still, the neighborhood in slumber. Yet within me, a fresh determination was taking shape, a determination to mend, to comprehend, and to seek a path back to the light, even if it required confronting the shadowy corners of my being. As the days stretched into weeks, I found myself attempting to bury the incident deep within my mind, yet it lingered, haunting me with its presence at every turn. The house, once a refuge, now seemed like a theater where each shadow murmured my remorse. I steered clear of Robert's touch, anxious that he might perceive the shadows that lingered inside me. The relationship I had with Rocky started to unravel. Every glance at him stirred a complex blend of emotions within me, a haunting echo of my past missteps. Robert, after coming back from his journeys, observed the transformation within me. His eyes, typically keen with a shrewdness for business, now sought mine with a worry that tugged at my heartstrings. He reached out, his voice soft and inviting. "Anna, is something troubling you? There's a certain air of detachment about you." His voice was gentle, a sharp contrast to the tempest raging within me. Yet I, enveloped by my hidden truth, distanced myself from him. "I'm simply weary," my voice, a faint whisper of the woman he once knew. My solitude deepened. The garden, once a sanctuary, now stood as a silent observer of my treachery. Every rose appeared to droop, burdened by the heaviness of my remorse. I found myself pondering the depths of my mind, the essence of right and wrong, and the core of our union. Was I still the woman Robert cherished? Or had I transformed into a stranger even to my own reflection? As I roamed the house during those peculiar hours, the stillness of the night seemed to echo the chaos swirling inside me. The images adorning the walls are echoes of the past, now appearing to taunt me. As I stood before them, my fingertips danced along the contours of our faces, pondering whether the joy immortalized in that moment had slipped away for good. One evening, as Robert returned from yet another journey, he discovered me in the dimly lit living room, gazing into the cold, dark fireplace. "Anna, what tales do you have to share?" he inquired, his tone tinged with concern. I turned to face him, the soft glow from the hallway creating intricate patterns of light and shadow on his features. "Nothing, Robert. Just the journey we all experience. I spoke, my voice almost lost in the air. But life wasn't merely unfolding. It was revealing its intricate layers. My nights were a tapestry of restless sleep, woven with dreams, where I wandered through a labyrinth of my own creation, hearing Robert's voice echoing in the distance, yet always just out of reach, leaving me yearning to find my way back to him. Every morning I would awaken abruptly, the truth of my circumstances hitting me like the harsh rays of the rising sun. I began to steer clear of social events, as the idea of engaging in shallow dialogues and the anxiety of someone piercing through my mask became too much to bear. The phone rang, a haunting echo of the bond slipping away, yet I chose to let it ring on untouched. In a space that once felt expansive, I found myself confined to the very rooms around me, echoing the dreams I struggled to embrace. In my solitude, I turned to books, finding comfort in narratives of redemption and forgiveness. Yet the words on the pages appear to fade, the narratives of others' experiences providing no refuge for my own. With a book resting on my lap, my thoughts drifted back to that night, to the shadows, to the instant when I stepped over a boundary I never imagined I would. Robert's endurance started to fray. As time went on, his efforts to connect with me dwindled, and the frustration etched into his forehead told a story of its own. "Anna, we need to have a conversation," he said one morning, his tone resolute, but tinged with a deep-seated sorrow. I acknowledged the moment, fully aware that this dialogue was bound to happen yet, feeling a deep sense of apprehension coursing through me. We gathered around the kitchen table, a familiar setting where we had exchanged numerous meals, now transformed into a stage for our hidden narratives. "I feel like I'm losing you," Robert confessed, his eyes searching mine for the woman he once knew, as if trying to piece together a narrative that had begun to fade. I longed to share it all with him, to release the burden I carried, yet the words remained lodged in my throat, weighed down by the heaviness of my guilt. Instead, I leaned over the table, my hand quivering as it made contact with his. "I've arrived, Robert. I'm feeling adrift. I confess, the nearest I can get to the reality without breaking apart our universe." As the days unfolded, each one whispered of the hidden tale I carried within. Deep down, I understood that I couldn't hide this from him indefinitely. Yet the dread of how he might respond, the thought of losing him, held me back from speaking out. Yet with each passing day, the quiet between us deepened, a vast divide, brimming with untold tales and lingering curiosities. As I stood by the window observing the neighborhood's daily rhythm, I came to understand that the journey ahead was laden with sorrow. Could my hidden truth unravel the bond we share? Or would I discover the bravery to face the consequences of my choices? The response danced just out of reach, much like the fragment I was in pursuit of. Yet one truth stood illuminated. The tempest brewing inside me was just beginning, and the outcome, whatever it may hold, would transform everything. The peak of our narrative unfolds on a seemingly ordinary day. Yet the atmosphere is charged with anticipation, a tempest forming not only above us, but within our very souls. Robert. My Robert comes back from yet another business trip, his eyes heavy with fatigue, his smile a mere shadow of its usual warmth. He's been gone for weeks now, and the space that separates us has transformed into a vast divide that seems insurmountable. I've been sidestepping this encounter, this pivotal moment, but as he crosses the threshold, I realize it's unavoidable. The burden of my secret, the incident with Rocky, has lingered quietly, becoming more oppressive with every day that goes by. Robert feels a stirring in the air, a whisper of unease that tugs at his instincts, finely tuned from countless encounters in the corporate arena. "Anna," he calls out, his voice tinged with worry and weariness. In the kitchen, I find myself gripping the glass of water, my hands shaking as I finally place it down on the counter. My heart pounds, echoing like a storm within me. I inhale deeply, much like one does before diving into icy waters, and enter the living room. He stands there, suitcase, resting by the door, his eyes locked onto mine. In his gaze lies a question, a silent request for comprehension. What troubles you? Anna, you've changed? He murmurs, his tone gentle, barely above a whisper, as though he fears breaking the delicate tranquility that surrounds us. The space seems to shrink, the walls tightening around me, while the images of our shared moments now taunt me with their unchanging grins. My gaze is averted, I cannot bear to meet his eyes. Instead, I concentrate on the carpet, on the elaborate designs that appear to intertwine the threads of our existence, now coming apart. Robert, I have a tale to share with you. I start, my voice a whisper in the air. The words weigh heavily on my tongue. Each one a burden, each one a step closer to a chasm I dread to approach. He inches forward, his hand extending, yet I retreat, the space between us, now tangible, a clear reflection of the chasm within. What's on your mind, Anna? You can share your thoughts with me, he implores, his voice brimming with a hopeful anticipation that I realize I'm about to shatter. Emotions surge within me, clouding my sight, yet they can't conceal the heartache that looms ahead. I embarked on an adventure. I found the words, though my voice trembled with the burden of what I was revealing. Once upon a time, there was something I never imagined I would be able to accomplish. Robert's expression, typically calm, twists into a mix of bewilderment and dread. What adventures did you embark on? Anna, his voice carries an unsettling blend of fear and incredulity. The stillness envelops me, a heavy blanket of quiet, pierced only by the uneven rhythm of my breath and the far-off drone of the refrigerator. As I gaze into his eyes, a flood of emotions washes over me, revealing the depth of my feelings for the man standing before me, the one I've wounded in ways that seem irreparable. In the depths of my solitude, Robert, I felt an overwhelming sense of isolation. In a fleeting moment of urgency, I turned to solace in places I ought to have avoided. His expression transforms, moving from bewilderment to an unsettling realization. What are you trying to convey, Anna? His voice has become a soft murmur, as though raising it might bring the truth into sharper focus. I inhaled deeply, the air filled with the flavor of treachery. Rocky and I shared a loyal bond. His quiet companionship was a constant, even in my most uncertain moments. The atmosphere thickens with an almost palpable stillness, interrupted solely by the sudden sharp gasp of Robert. His face, once a canvas of resilience, now contorts with anguish and incredulity. He stumbles backward, his hand pressed against his mouth, trying to suppress the cry that threatens to break free. Emotions pour from me, my body trembling with the weight of my sorrow. I truly apologize, Robert. I found myself lost in the moment, unsure of my next step. In the depths of my solitude, I found myself adrift, wandering through the shadows of my own isolation. Robert's eyes are wide, his mind racing to grasp the depth of the betrayal. He gazes at Rocky, peacefully resting his tail, gently thumping, unaware of the emotional storm unfolding between us. Then, without a word, Robert turns and walks out of the house, the door slamming shut with a resonance that lingers in my heart. Here I am alone with Rocky, feeling the heavy burden of my choices weighing down on me. I collapse onto the floor, my cries resonating through the silence of the deserted home. Rocky came close and rested beside me, his warm presence offering the only comfort I could accept at that moment. As I run my fingers through his soft fur, a wave of warmth washes over me, mingling with the sharp pang of remorse that lingers in my heart. What have I created? The inquiry lingers in my thoughts, a persistent resonance. I find myself in a deep reflection, caught between the affection that lingers for Robert and the permanent choice I have made. The dwelling which used to be our refuge now resembles a cage of my own design. I'm aware that I need to confront what lies ahead, to ask for forgiveness, or at the very least, to find some clarity. But how does one seek a redemption for an act so significant, so profoundly hurtful? The journey forward is uncertain, veiled in the haze of my past missteps. What if a shocking twist left you questioning everything? Can love endure the weight of such a deep betrayal? In the days that followed Robert's departure, the house transformed into a somber relic, each room resonating with the haunting silence of our broken existence. It became clear to me that action was necessary not only for Robert, but also for my own sake. The burden of my choices felt immense, and the path ahead seemed to lie in grasping the deeper meanings and possibly finding a way to let go. In the comforting embrace of Dr. Elise's office, I embarked on a journey of self-discovery, finding refuge in the gentle atmosphere that welcomed my thoughts and feelings. Her room was adorned with gentle, subdued hues, the walls lined with books that shared narratives of recovery and optimism. I settled into the soft embrace of the couch, a familiar spot where many had shared their deepest thoughts, and started to untangle the complex web of my feelings. Anna shared with me the tale of that night. Dr. Elise encouraged softly, her voice wrapping around me like a comforting embrace, easing my frayed emotions. I shared the tale, the solitude, the darkness that enveloped me, and the urgent yearning for companionship that pushed me to step beyond boundaries I never imagined I would. As I shared my experiences, I sensed the heaviness of my shame. Yet Dr. Elise absorbed my words with an open heart, her gaze filled with profound understanding. She urged me to explore the reasons behind my desire for solace in such an unusual manner, her words inviting me to journey further into my inner thoughts. The sessions were excruciating, each one revealing deeper layers of remorse, isolation, and a deep desire for something beyond the existence I was living. Dr. Elise illuminated the truth for me. My actions were not merely a betrayal of Robert, but rather a heartfelt plea for assistance, a frantic effort to bridge a chasm that had widened beyond measure. In the quiet moments, Robert's departure lingered an unmistakable shadow in our lives. As the days stretched into weeks, my heart held onto the hope that he would come back, even if only for a conversation. There was a void in my heart, a longing for the man I had vowed to share my life with. The laughter we once shared and the dreams we built together felt like echoes from a distant past. As dusk fell, painting the room in hues of gold and amber, the unmistakable sound of a car gliding into the driveway reached my ears. My heart soared only to be pulled down by the gravity of what lay ahead. Robert entered the room, his expression a tapestry of swirling feelings. He appeared more seasoned, the creases on his face more pronounced, his eyes tired yet determined. We gathered in the living room, the very spot where I had unveiled my deepest truth. Rocky, an older dog with graying fur, rested at my feet, embodying the journey we had shared and the memories we had created together. Anna Robert began, his voice thick with emotion. I've been reflecting deeply. He stopped, gazing at me with intent, as if attempting to peer into the depths of the woman he had once known. I've experienced a whirlwind of emotions, feeling a mix of anger and hurt, leading me to ponder every aspect of our relationship. I nodded, my throat constricted with feeling. I get it, Robert. I've been on that journey too. I've been on a journey exploring the reasons behind my actions, seeking a path to self-forgiveness. With a deep breath, he let his eyes wander over to Rocky. He confessed with a hint of melancholy, a faint, sorrowful smile gracing his lips, that he had missed him. Oh, how I've longed for you, Anna. Not the version of you that made those choices, but the version I fell for. Emotions surged within me, causing my eyes to glisten. I've arrived, Robert. I'm on a journey to rediscover that part of myself, and I could really use your support. Let's come together and support one another. In the stillness of the room, the gentle ticking of the clock echoed a subtle reminder of the relentless passage of time, of life persisting even amidst our struggles. Robert extended his hand, pausing for a moment before finally grasping mine. I'm not sure if I can let go, Anna, but perhaps, just perhaps, we can discover a path forward together. We shared our thoughts for hours, not as partners, bound by vows, but as two souls seeking to piece together the fragments of what once was. It was never about wiping away the past. It was a journey of comprehension, a recognition of the hurt and the treachery, and a choice to see if we could create something fresh from the remnants. Robert shared his reflections on the essence of love. His voice was calm and unwavering. Life isn't solely defined by the joyful moments, is it? It's a journey through the shadows, a testament to the strength found in unity and a commitment to remain side by side even when pain lingers. I grasp his hand, a spark of hope igniting within me. Indeed, it's about the daily commitment to one another even in challenging times. The dialogue unfolded with deep emotion, brimming with tears, heartfelt apologies, and cautious strides toward mending the wounds. We decided to embark on a fresh journey together, not erasing the past, but embracing forgiveness, committed to nurturing our relationship with the awareness that the road ahead was unpredictable, yet deserving of our efforts. Rocky, feeling the change in the air, thumped his tail gently, his gaze shifting between us as if he grasped more than we realized. He had been there observing quietly as we navigated the joy and the sorrow, the affection, and now as we sought to make amends. As the night deepened, we huddled together, the space between us shrinking with every exchanged word, every synchronized breath. The path was anything but straightforward. It unfolded as a rich tapestry of discovery, reconciliation, and perhaps the emergence of a different kind of affection. Asterisk clickbait. Cliffhanger asterisk will. Anna and Robert discover tranquility? Or is this the final chapter of their tale? If you found this tale captivating, remember to subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments. This will assist us in crafting more captivating narratives for you.